Hi everyone, my name is Marisol Sanchez-Best and I am the Associate Director of Education for Seattle Theatre Group. STG is the nonprofit organization that operates the Paramount, the Moore, and the Neptune Theater. This Beyond the Curtains will highlight different artists in their journey and they'll tell us some really cool stories about themselves. We hope you enjoy this Beyond the Curtain series.
My name is Camden Gonzales. I am a professional performer, actor, singer, dancer. You may have seen me in shows such as Matilda the Musical on tour, Groundhog Day The Musical on Broadway, and most recently in Hamilton the Musical, also on tour. I was when we opened the tour of Hamilton in Seattle, which was super exciting. We got to spend so many extra weeks there because we had tech and we had rehearsals leading up to the opening of that show. Um, my a fun story that happened to me in Seattle was I made my debut in the show while we were in Seattle, still in previews. I was in a costume fitting down in the basement of the theater, of the Paramount Theater, and 15 minutes before the show was meant to start performance, there's a full audience of people. Our stage manager came downstairs and looked at me kind of funny, and I said, "I'm on, aren't I?" And he said, "Yeah." So I was already in my costume, which was nice. So I went straight to hair and they just started putting my hair in pin curls, and 15 minutes later, dun, 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 and I walked out on stage and my heart was beating so fast. In some ways was traditional, I guess. I went to UCLA and I went to a 4-year college. I got a Bachelor of Arts in theater, with an emphasis in musical theater. And I was so grateful for that education, not only because I really needed more work as an actor and as a singer, but also because it was an overall education, which I appreciated. And then straight out of school, I stayed in Los Angeles and just hit the ground running. I was auditioning for commercials, I was auditioning for theater locally. And then my first real professional job was at La Jolla Playhouse, which was a theater for youth piece where I played a young Frida Kahlo. And I remember thinking, like, I've made it, I'm here, I'm like working as a professional, I'll work forever now. And then, of course, you go back to auditioning and it's very humbling because that's not the case. I'm passionate about it because I think they're the unsung heroes, and I think until you've done it, you don't really know how hard it is. So a swing in the show is somebody who understudies essentially the ensemble generally, and that could be singers, it can be dancers, it can be all of the above, and they're the hardest working, most important job in a show, in my opinion. And we can be, as swings, you can cover anywhere from 3 to 20 tracks in a show. And a track just means anything anybody does from A to Z within the show. That includes set moves and costume changes, and if they have lines, if they have solo singing parts, all of that is encompassed in that one person's track, as we call it. And you're responsible for knowing all of it at any moment of the day, in the middle of the show. I was in middle school and I did my first play, which was Damn Yankees. And there's this whole blooper ballet in the show that is basically a danced version of why this baseball team is so terrible. And so they're all messing up all the time and all these things. And I got this featured moment to like kind of walk up really funny and like swing my hips around and pretend to hit a ball. I got a really big laugh. And I just remember that feeling of like, this is really fun. Challenges that I've faced personally have been more about myself as a female. Being a female and being in charge of other people, or being a manager type of role, and being young is a huge challenge and a huge thing to navigate, and I think, just as in like the corporate world or anywhere else, people still sometimes have trouble, taking women seriously in those kinds of roles. And I found really wonderful mentors along the way who have shown me how to do that. One is be kind. You will get more work with honey than you will with vinegar. I think the other piece of advice is just don't worry about anyone else's timeline in the business, because everyone is on their own path, and you'll find people who at 18 years old are a lead on Broadway, and then you'll find people who didn't find, you know, whatever their version of success is until they were in their 30s. I'll just say that Seattle is one of my most favorite cities, and the Paramount Theater is one of my favorite places to perform. It's so beautiful. You guys welcomed us so well when I was there with Hamilton, and I can't wait for all theater, and especially Seattle's amazing rich theater scene. I can't wait for it to come back and see what everyone gets up to.